The University of Chicago started, unlike many universities, as a research university from the very beginning. This meant that people came here because they wanted to be in a serious intellectual environment that would produce ideas of lasting importance and value. Since its inception, the University of Chicago has believed that the most empowering education takes place in this environment of open discourse and free expression. This stamped the University of Chicago and has lasted till the present day. Faculty want to be in an environment in which their research is going to flourish, that demands that they be able to articulate, test ideas, and be able to think freely without constraint, and be able to actually deliver an education in which students are empowered to deal with multiple perspectives, to deal with confronting different ideas. One needs open discourse in order to provide ongoing intellectual challenge.
There's a long history at the university that freedom of expression was in itself the most important form of education, and that education was, in effect, education for freedom. The university needs to protect the autonomy of the university itself as a space of freedom and protect this intellectual excitement and all those people who are part of this institution.
There is a deep history of exclusionary behavior in our society. Free expression and diversity and inclusion actually go very much hand in hand. In an environment in which you have a diversity of perspectives, diversity of backgrounds, what we want people to be included in is the most empowering education that they can possibly have.
The years that you spend in college at a university are very distinct moments in your life. It is one of the few times when you will be exposed to this level of diversity, people of different generations, people from different countries. It's essential that people are open to those ideas, that they hear people who are different than they are. Organizations, countries, institutions are better, stronger because of our differences, not in spite of our differences. My hope is that students are inspired by this environment and inspired by this opportunity.
The most meaningful conversations I've had during my time at UChicago have been those that have pushed me outside of my comfort zone to consider different perspectives and different viewpoints. The university's attitude towards free expression reflects the belief that a true liberal education is rooted in free speech.
Free expression is actually under challenge in an ongoing way. We're not in a unique time when this is happening. We're repeating a pattern that has been going on for a very long time on university campuses and in the country as a whole. When I started seeing potential speakers being disinvited at other university campuses, I knew that this was counter to our culture and that it was something that would not be happening at the University of Chicago. So we commissioned this faculty committee to write what has subsequently become known as the Chicago Principles. The central point is that the university is there to be an umbrella for multiple perspectives, and the university will not stop speech because some collection of people think the speech is wrong or offensive. This is an environment of intellectual challenge. We made it very clear, threats, harassment are not part of what free expression means on the University of Chicago campus.
At a time when there have been quite a number of incidents that some unpopular speaker be disinvited, the University of Chicago has been a leader in its very clear reactions, which is that we don't do those things because someone might be offended. The point of education is not to make you comfortable, it's to make you think. People need to be able to speak for themselves in ways that create not only your own independence, but in a way to fortify your own courage and your readiness to become part of a larger world where those things are going to happen frequently.
Knowing that the university had These principles of free expression was a huge factor in me choosing to come here. We do bring controversial speakers to campus, and whether or not I agree with it or disagree with it has taught me to be a good listener. And that's an important part of free speech too, and it has contributed to my personal growth. And every time I have been challenged by students, which has been many times, it's been respectful, it's been civil, and I'm better able to understand their positions, and it's made me more receptive to those around me.
It is not simple to have your assumptions challenged, to sit and listen to somebody expressing things that you may find offensive. And it requires courage for you to be able to think through your own assumptions. But the value of having an environment of free expression and intellectual challenge is that the students come out empowered to deal with the complexity of the challenges that they're going to face in their future.
And in all the talk about what is it that college prepares you for, this is, I think, perhaps the most important thing of all. It prepares you to become an informed and active citizen as a more independent person and understand that as they're dealing with other human beings, they can be both free and humane.